A very warm welcome to everyone. This webinar is organized by Seeker Mentor. We are a platform which aim to make mentorship, quality mentorship more accessible and personalized. It is started by a group of IIM grads, and I am myself Sahil, and I'm an alumni of IIM Bangalore, and I'll be the host for today. So as people join in, a little more introduction. We started off with the career insights into product management last week. We had Mohammad Sarosh, another IIM alumni, to talk about product management, and we are continuing on the same path to sort of talk about career insights into marketing today. Marketing has been traditionally one of the oldest sectors in the world. From having drawings of fish on the fish curry markets 2,000 years ago, to be able to sort of create a marketing campaign with just 2 to 3 clicks. Marketing has sort of grown tremendously over the years, but the main boost which it has received is after the industrial revolution and at the advent of internet. And there is also a huge rising trend in fields such as digital marketing. So without further ado, I'll sort of add our guest for today, Amanpreet. Hi, Amanpreet. Welcome, and thank you for taking time to talk about marketing and sharing your experiences with us in Secret Mentor. It's a pleasure to have you here with us for this hour.
Thank you, Sahil. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for having me here. If you can hear me clearly, really excited to be doing this. And I think that's the need of the hour given the current situation we are in. So yeah, happy to be here.
So yeah, without further ado, let us just start with the session we have planned for today, Amanpreet. A brief introduction about Amanpreet, guys. Amanpreet is the global brand marketing at Unilever. He's also completed the Unilever Future Leaders Program with us with HUL, and he's an alumni of IIM Bangalore, class of 18, and a senior of mine. And and during his 2 years at MBA, he has won a lot of accolades. He has been the ET Young Leader 2018, and along with that, he has participated in several CAFE competitions, including those from Asian Paints, Coca-Cola, Samsung, HUL, etc. And probably one of the person whom I look up to when I hear the name marketing is Amanpreet. So thank you, Amanpreet. We will broadly be breaking the session into 4 parts today. We will start off with what exactly is marketing and what are the various careers in it. The second section will be to talk more about Amanpreet's experience in this field. Then we will move on to how does one prepare for a role in marketing, and then the fourth option will be the recruiter's perspective and how do recruiters sort of recruit folks in this field. So starting off with the first section, Amanpreet, what do you generally do, and what are the prevalent roles which are present today in this domain?
So Sahil, I think before we answer this question, it's important to understand that what essentially is marketing, because I think there are a lot of myths about what marketing is, what marketers do, etc. So for me, if I have to define it we'll go back to very basics, Philip Kotler 101, where we say that marketing is the act of fulfilling the consumer needs profitably. Okay. So in HUL specifically, marketing is the main function because HUL is a marketing company. So it's about framing the consumer problem in business terms, understanding what are the consumer needs, and then mobilizing the entire company around it to fulfill that need so that we can generate necessary profits, etc. So in a nutshell, marketing is all about understanding the consumer needs and then fulfilling it through other support functions. And for example, the core role obviously is a brand manager role. So brand manager essentially is the CEO of a brand. He's the guardian of the brand. He handles the entire P&L. So he is responsible for what we call as the 6 P's of marketing: the product, what is the product, the place where it sells, probably, and talks to consumers. The price be in terms of packaging, what should the packaging be? So it's the holistic role of brand role. But with the advent of digital marketing, I think there are many avenues that have opened up. It's not just a brand manager role or assistant brand manager role anymore. I think we'll talk more about in the webinar to go that
digital marketing itself has opened a lot of avenues there.
You have social media team, you have an SEO team, you have marketing analytics team. So the space has basically horizoned a lot. So yeah, we'll discuss about that.
Sure, Amanpreet. So, coming to the next question, usually people refer to marketing not, in coherence with sales and marketing, right? People usually say S&M. So, are these two related, and what are the differences between these two fields?
Yeah, they're definitely related because I think how we define sales is that, in a very simple term, sales is the act of fulfilling the consumer demand in the market. So a marketer identifies that need, identifies the product that can fulfill that demand. But unless you have the sales function who can bring that product to your nearest store, you won't be able to get it. So it goes hand in hand. Sales alone cannot sell products. I think brands sell products, sales just fulfills it. And with only brands, with no product availability in the market, the product won't sell. So it's a combination of a good combination of sales and marketing. In HUL specifically, for example, any brand manager has to do a upcountry 2-3 year sales stint, and then they get on to graduate to become a brand manager. So it's important to understand what sells in the market and how it sells. But essentially, brands are the ones who actually make the product sell. So yeah, it's both related. So
okay. Also, Amanpreet, along the questions today which we have, we will try to debunk a lot of myths as well. Marketing role, usually there are some myths around marketing, so we'll try to debunk most of them. One which we hear a lot is, marketing and advertising are almost the same things. So can you shed some more on how are they different, or if they are?
Yeah, I think if you talk in layman terms, marketing is called as a publicity department, and it's slightly a negative connotation. But I think in companies like HUL or in any FMCG company,
it has big city. It's not a publicity department because you are clearly defining what is the market, what is the consumer problem you're trying to identify. Then there's a lot of research involved in terms of developing product. For example, I give you a very simple example. Marketer's job would be, for example, I was working on Vim. So Vim body wash, right? So for example, a category like body wash, which is not penetrated in a country. The marketing problem here is that how do I increase the penetration of a body wash or a hand sanitizer in the country? That's a marketing problem, right? For example, tea, everyone drinks tea in India. The penetration is huge. So the problem there is how do I generate market share?
Advertising is one part of marketing which entails that what do we say to our consumer in what format. It has to be a TV ad, it has to be a Facebook creative, it has to be a YouTube video, Instagram story. So essentially, advertising is the way you communicate your proposition to your consumers. So it's one part of it. And marketing essentially as a whole is about solving the consumer need, identifying the problem, etc. So a good advertisement is something which is like
plus or good strategic business perspective, like it adds value to the consumer. So yeah, advertising is one part of it, but it's not marketing alone. So yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, great. So what we learned is marketing is sort of a little more broader, and advertisement is sort of just one part of the communication which a marketer has to do. When you talk about the marketer, Amanpreet, what exactly are the skill sets does one require to be in the marketing role?
Again, a very generic one. So I think, as I told you, everything starts with consumer and their needs. So first is to understand your consumer better. So we had a subject in marketing called consumer behavior, and that lies the base of it. The psychology of understanding consumer perceptions, consumer attitudes, consumer motivation, what motivates them to buy this XYZ product, what is their perception of value, what we call. So the first fundamental is to understand the consumer behavior, okay, which comes through psychology, etc. And then once you have done all your market research work, I think the second is to generate that one single insight that can give you business. Okay, so you can do 100 market visit sessions, but one single insight which you got from a consumer, which I think can be the make or break of that
consumer data you get. The third art, I think, is the art of giving briefs. So if you would know, then in companies like HUL, for example, P&G, brand managers don't create advertisements in-house. Like it's always outsourced to a creative agency like a Lowe or a Lentas. So it's about giving them the brief, and giving a brief is a very hard job, because you need to help them understand that, okay, this is what I want the product to communicate, the brand to communicate. So the art of giving a brief in a very articulated manner is something which is a skill. And then it's a business, like I told you, right? A brand manager is the CEO of the product, of the brand which he's managing. So he has to manage the financials, with something we call as BMI. So I am given like 100 crores. You have to define where to spend which money. So it's a lot of finance there. Okay, what should the gross margin of that product? Then you have to have an analytical mindset, because you get so much data now with digital coming in. Like Instagram is throwing you stats, Facebook throwing you stats. You're getting data from sales teams, etc. So you have to analyze the data, consume it, and then make a strategic decision out of it. So in terms of core marketing skill set, I think problem-solving approach and ability to step into the consumer shoes is one, and then formulating all that to give one single business decision or a perspective to your sales force team, to your media team, etc. is a big skill. With digital marketing, obviously there are very finite skills, like you have to be an SEO expert, you can be a social media expert, etc. But I think we can talk about it as we go along on the digital marketing piece.
Sure. So it sort of all starts from identifying the problem, understanding what the customer pulse is, and then sort of creating that entire strategy, implementing that entire strategy, getting data to validate how the strategy was, and then circulating that loop back again to sort of improve the customer experience further. And so I think that sort of means that there is a part where there is an analytical mindset, there is a part where there is a creative freedom which marketers get. So, you have to sort of utilize both the left and the right sections of the brain. So I think moving forward, there is another regarding what skill sets does one require to be in the marketing field. And, this was asked by some of our folks who responded was, there are certain, personality traits which are more suited for certain roles, it is thought. And it is a perception that usually extroverts are better at marketing and sales than introverts. Is this myth true, or is it just a myth which you can bust?
I think there's no rule in the book which says that introverts can't do sales and marketing. I think for me, I read it somewhere recently. So marketing is a science as much as an art. Okay. Yes, advertising is art, creativity, but there's a lot of science involved into how consumer psychology works, how consumer perceive the brand, etc. So
I think Amanpreet had to drop off due to some bad network. We'll just join him again. Okay, perfect. I think guys can hear us. So we were on the question of are introverts suited for the marketing role? That was a myth which we were planning to sort of touch upon. So
Okay, I think I answered it when nobody was listening, but that's okay. So for me, I think there is no rule in the book which says that introverts cannot do marketing. Okay. Yes, it helps if you're out there, if you can talk to a lot of people, because a marketing job would require you to visit the field, would require you to talk to a lot of consumers. If you can talk well, you can get more out of every session you do. And also as a marketing job, because you're the central figure there, you have to talk to a lot of media teams, analytics teams, SEO teams, creative agencies, content agencies, PR teams and all. So in a nutshell, you have to talk a lot, right? But it does not mean that being an introvert has any disadvantages. I think the one advantage they have is that because they tend to listen well and they tend to absorb things better, they can maybe pick up one or two insights which otherwise would have been ignored. Okay, so no rule in the book which says that marketing is not for introverts, but I think it helps if you're out there, if you are lively, if you speak well.
Right. So I think that's one myth we can bust. Now coming to the last question for our first section, Amanpreet, is that there are certain traditional marketing roles, there are certain growth marketing roles, there is digital marketing. How are these roles sort of different from one another?
I think with the advent of digital, the role of marketing has become very dynamic. Earlier, when we were brand manager, a brand essentially won't change their brand proposition in like 2 to 3 years unless they have to. And even if they do, they'll do it slightly. Okay. The media spending are very fixed. You buy the TV GRPs, you create an ad, create a TV series, you put it on, it's there. Right now with TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, everything coming in, I think the role of marketing has become very dynamic because these platforms are changing every day. Okay. Their algorithms are changing, the way you bid on these platforms, etc., is changing. So has become more dynamic in nature. There's a lot more data coming into your system. Earlier, it was a study or a brand led study, which will be done every 6 months to help you understand, okay, what the brand is looking like. But right now, with a lot of digital tools like Google Analytics, etc., there's a lot of data coming in. You can actually target a specific consumer and see what they're doing. Entire end-to-end consumer journey, that's there. Growth marketing, essentially, it's a new fad. I think a lot of people you would have seen put on LinkedIn as a growth marketing, etc. It's nothing but a more organized way of doing things. Essentially, initially, marketing was thought as the channel of doing awareness and acquisition. Okay, make people aware of the product and acquire them on the product. Now, with growth marketing and digital marketing as a more product marketing role, that's what in HUL we do. We look at the entire how we the product, how we activate the experience on the product, and how we retain them. So it's a full cycle. Okay, it has become full consumer cycle. You can call a growth marketing role as a product marketing role. You can call it a growth hacking role. You can call it whatever. But I think the whole crux is that marketing has become more dynamic, more consumer engaging nowadays.
Right, and I think as I think Sharat had written, it is now it's not that you are an extrovert or introvert. You have to be a webtrovert because a lot of marketing happens online. So yeah, I
Yes.
think that summarizes it well. I have a
Yeah.
couple of questions from Sindhuja. Sindhuja, we will be covering this question in the third section. And Ayush, yes, so we had your question covered for the last section, but we can touch upon it now. Amanpreet, Ayush has asked, do brand managers need to travel a lot? What is your answer to that? Yeah.
Brand managers, yes, sort of, yes, because uh, what I've seen, week, a 7 day, a 5 day work week, a brand manager in the market for like 1 or 2 days, he's in the market, and that market can be anything. For example, when I was working with Vim, my brand manager used to travel to coastal Andhra 1 week, the other he was in Kolkata, the other he was in North. So yes, they do travel, but I think 3 days is a tech job, 2 days is a market research work. You do a lot of consumer sessions. With digital coming in, I think one boon has been that we are able to do market sessions virtually. Okay, we have tie-ups with a lot of agencies who get people onto their studios, etc., and we can ask them questions live, which has helped us a lot. But I think going to a market is always a humbling experience for any brand manager, and they like to do it. It's part of their jobs to be done. So sort of yes, not more than the sales manager. The salesperson is always on the field, but yeah, brand manager, sort of yes.
Okay. So I think that I hope that answers the question for Akash. We have sort of completed our first segment. We move on to the second segment, which is focused more on you, Amanpreet. We will be talking about your learnings, your experiences. So coming to the first question for that, can you tell us a bit about your journey at HUL and how did you decide that you wanted to get into this industry?
For me, I think marketing was always the thing I wanted to. Maybe because I'm an extrovert and I'm not going by the convention which I earlier said, but I always wanted to do that because I thought, as a person, what I realized that I can step into the other people's shoes well. I can understand the psyche well. I have an interest in psychology, etc. I obviously used to love watching marketing campaigns, ad campaigns on TV. So I had an interest in the field. And when I entered into IMB, I think the subjects which I took and the kind of grades I got, the kind of traction I got, I think it completely verified my claim that yes, I wanted to do marketing. In HUL, a lot of people may not know, but I never got into through the normal recruitment process. I came in through winning a case competition. So we won IT Reboot from the campus, got a PPI. Then I gave an interview at the head office, HUL, and then I got into even before the final placement was starting. So that was a very unconventional path which I took because that was there. At HUL, it has been a great experience. I think it's the best marketing company to work for probably in India, purely because of the UFLP management training program. It's a 15-month program where you're told to do everything. Even if you're a marketer or a digital marketer or a finance person, I was there doing sales for 3 months, post in hot July summer, selling products there in a state where I didn't understand the language. That was a very humbling experience. Then I went to Punjab in a factory where I was making Kisan ketchup. Okay, then I came back to head office, did supply chain stint. Then I went to China to teach Chinese people supply chain, digital. So it has been a great experience. And then fortunately, out of 44 slots available, one was a digital marketing slot, which I got to do, which was actually so I tried hard for getting a digital marketing role. Fortunately, my credentials helped, and then I got into the role. And now I am working for brands like Fair and Lovely, Pond's, Lux, Close Up, Axe, etc., in helping them craft the digital marketing strategy. So it has been a great journey. It has been a great learning experience, and I'm grateful to be working in HUL.
No, I think that sounds like a wonderful experience, and so many different fields and areas you are touching upon in that training stint. And I'm sure HUL is they really enable their employees to learn various aspects about marketing through these programs. So I think that's a great experience to share. Coming to your day-to-day role, Amanpreet, what are your roles and responsibilities as a digital marketer, and what does a day or a week in your life look like?
So for me, see, my basic job to be done is that I help brands craft their digital presence online. Okay, like there are multiple kinds of brands even in HUL space. Like for example, a Wheel. Wheel is not a digital first brand, right? They are just coming onto digital, so they want to be there. So for them, the first step would be to have a website, have a Facebook page. So that becomes my job to be done. When you talk about brands like LACPay, for example, it's a very digital savvy brand, talking to a lot of youth and consumers. The job there is run marketing campaigns, digital marketing campaigns, set up analytics funnels. For example, if I run a campaign on Facebook and on Instagram, how is the campaign doing? I have to tag their websites to get the data into our Unilever systems. Then there are a lot of partnerships involved. For example, as a LACME, I would partner with a lot of my brands, a lot of other third-party entities to craft the digital marketing division. There's a lot of PR work involved, SEO, for example. So content marketing, you have to interact a lot with the content marketing agencies who write blogs to the right formats to be done on Facebook, right formats to be done on Instagram. So it's a very dynamic role. There's no specific task. I think the major skill sets would be 6 or 7, which a digital marketer would require in terms of, yes, the basics of web development is one, okay. Understanding of SEO, Google, etc. Understanding of paid marketing, advertising, okay. How to bid on Google ads, how to optimize Facebook campaigns, etc. But overall, if I tell you in HUL, I think everything is agency driven. You have specific agencies for your task. Your job is to manage all those agencies, understand their work, and then give them a single vision for a brand to follow. That's something which my essentially day-to-day job is. It's very dynamic based on the brand and the stage with the brand.
Right. So yeah, it sounds like I think probably there are no 2 weeks which probably would be the same for you. So yeah, there is a lot of changes within the week, a lot of teams you have to talk to, and so yeah, I think that gives us a good light of how a day or a week looks like for a digital marketer. And you must have in your time at HUL interacted with a lot of marketing managers and folks in this domain. What makes a great marketing manager great? Like, what is the key to success?
I think a lot of great brand managers which I've met, I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of them now, is their understanding of their consumer and their product and their market in and out. If you ask a brand manager, Vim dishwash, Vim liquid, how is its penetration in Karnataka? Okay, which region sells well, which doesn't? They will tell you in and out. The numbers are on their feet. Okay, they know their dhanda very well. So that's a trait of a very good brand manager. Second is the ability to pick up a lot of nonsense, a lot of noise, feedback which is coming, and to help them articulate into one single message which tells them this is the solution to this problem. this is what my consumer wants, and this is how I'm gonna give it to them in the form of this sort of advertisement, etc. I think
Right.
creativity is an add-on to a brand manager. I won't say every brand manager is as creative as well, because we have support like agencies like Low, etc., who have creative people at the helm to support us. But a good brand manager and a great brand manager is able to articulate that single message well and give it to them. I want my brand to look like this in front of the consumer eyes. So this is very important. I think that's what I've found. They know their consumer and the brand in and out.
Yeah. So I think that makes total sense. For a person to be successful in this field, he has to know, what the customers want, how they want it, and
Yeah.
probably have all the data at their fingertips. Coming to the last question of this section, Amanpreet, is that how does the career trajectory for an employee in a company like, say, HUL, look like, and how does one grow in this role over the years?
Yeah, so in actual, if you talk about core marketing, I think first you have to do 2 years of approximate 2 years of hardcore sales. You're on the field. You are an ASM, sales manager. You're given a good area. You're told to manage distributors, your sales force, etc. So that's for 2 years. Then essentially they do a 1 year or a 6 month stint with at a trade category manager. These are the people who sit in the head office. They are the bridge between the brand manager and the sales people. For example, what schemes to run, what sort of promotions to do, and etc. So they are the what we call as the CMI and the number crunchers people, the number crunching people. And then you become a brand manager, like around 3.5 years. You become a brand manager. Then you become a senior brand manager. Then you become a brand director, etc. So that's a traditional hierarchy of a brand manager in HUL. If you talk about digital marketing, which has become different, which I am, I never did full hardcore sales in Unilever. I did only 3 months of sales in my stint. I am now directly working with a brand manager to craft a digital strategy. So, for my role would be, I became a digital marketing manager. Then I can lead a division like a home care or a FNR or a personal care division, and then I can grow within the digital space itself. So the journeys have become very dynamic. Earlier it used to be a AB and PM sort of role. Now it's very dynamic.
Right. So I think that gives us a good insight about your experiences and how does an employee in a company like HUL or any other great marketing companies, their life is like. So we move on to the third stage, and probably the stage which will be on the minds of all of these viewers and other students who will be viewing this video later on, is how do we prepare for this role, right? So if you look at the campus, Amanpreet, you also might have seen that there are so many different roles you can choose from. There is a basket of roles, be it after undergrad or be it after postgrad. There are roles in consulting, product management, finance, marketing. How does one choose, or why should one join the marketing role?
Why should one join I think if you're curious about solving daily routine problems in your life, and if you think you have the finish for some sort of creative experiences, then you should join a marketing role. For example, a very simple problem in a consumer. Your maid is washing your utensils. She is consuming the Vim dishwash bar rapidly because it's getting dissolved in water. What brand manager did was they put a sheet behind the bar. Okay, so the entire the way it gets dissolved was so. This is a very basic consumer problem, right? But
Right.
how brand managers got around it. So if you're curious about solving, because you are a consumer as well, right? You use all these products in your daily life.
Right.
If you're curious about solving these problems, I think, and if you have eye for understanding people's psyche and how they consume products, etc., I think you should join the marketing role. One thing is for sure, you'll never get bored in a marketing role. Yes, it's not all sexy roles, but yes, at the end of the day, we are selling soaps and oils and soap and oil only. But I think a lot of brands in HUL now, you would see they have a big purpose attached to it. Okay, they do a lot of good work, a lot of CSR involved to it. So at the end of the day, you also have an opportunity to change life, because these are big brands like Lifebuoy, etc. They have the money. So, they do a lot of good work on the field, which gives you satisfaction. So yeah, you should
Right.
run a marketing role purely for the curiousness of it.
Right. So yeah, I think no matter what product or what company you're working for, that power to understand what the user problem is, and that the ability to solve it is what drives a person who's interested in marketing. And probably if that drive isn't within these folks, you can look at marketing as a possible career option as well.
Yeah.
Coming to the next, a lot of folks have asked us that is an MBA necessary for getting into the role of marketing?
Not necessarily. I think it doesn't help because I told you, right? Like, yes, if you are a brand manager, if you're managing a 4,000 crore brand, what does MBA give us? I think let's start with that. MBA gives us a way of structuring your thoughts, your problems, putting a framework around it, and then articulating it well to solve that problem, right? That is what MBA gives us. Essentially, we are not taught digital marketing in MBA school. There's one subject, yeah, but yeah. Yes, you are taught fundamentals of marketing, but I think that you can read Philip Kotler and you can get it there as well. So not necessarily. MBA does help you boost up the capability to structure thoughts well, to talk well with a lot of consumers. But when you see a lot of on the agency side of things, for example, on agency side, people who are there, they are from different background. People who are journalists, they got into creative writing. Okay, people who are techies, for example, they got into SEO. So SEO essentially was a tech role. Okay, but now it turned into a marketing come tech role. There are a lot of freelancers. I think people who simply influencers, right? Who are there. But when you are managing a 4,000 crore brand, obviously your MBA credentials do help. But essentially, it's not a big game changer there. There are enough avenues in the market where you can choose to be a marketeer without having an MBA.
Right. So as you rightly said, people from different folks, different backgrounds, be it journalism, be it engineering, be it analytics, all of them can in some way convert their career into the marketing role, and it not
Yes.
necessarily through an MBA degree. An MBA degree might make things easier by giving you that platform, but I think it
Yeah.
is not a mandatory degree to have if you want to enter into marketing.
Yeah, I think open source platforms to learn marketing as a whole. Yeah.
Right. So I think coming to the last for this section is what can, there's this COVID-19 situation right now. A lot of people have time on their hands and they want to invest this time learning more about their field. How could you suggest a person can learn any courses or any other sources you can identify for a person to learn more about branding, marketing in general?
Yeah, I think very good question. So I think given the time we have on hands, yes, we can run after a lot of certification. You can do a lot of courses, especially in digital space, because in the core branding you have to do some sales and then you go graduate to become a brand. You can, but in a digital space, it's easy to upskill yourself. I'll mention some key sources. Example, Google Garage. The fundamentals of digital marketing is very strong in that course. There's a course on Udemy by Fundamentals of Digital Marketing by Ralph Welsh. I found that it's an 100-hour course. I found that course very well. Some really good stuff out there, and I think enough materials out there. But I think the most important thing what people can use right now is, yes, certification is fine, reading material is fine, but you have to get your hands dirty. You have to be out there. Unless you try stuff, you won't be able to learn. You can pick up as much skills as you want. So, for example, it's very easy. Write a blog, right? Create a blog, create a WordPress website, do SEO on that, do content marketing on that. Okay. No, don't want to write. Okay, create an Instagram channel. For example, I have helped a lot of my friends who have channels like cooking. They have experience in cooking, or someone who's interested in space. Do your marketing on your channel, okay? And you will learn. For example, simple question: how many hashtags should I put in an Instagram post? 5, 6, 10. What is the answer? You won't know that unless you actually try to implement it and actually try to do it. So I think more than certifications, more than courses, it's important to be out there. Have a digital artifact, have a digital property which you can call yourself. It can be a website, can be an Instagram handle, can be a Facebook page, etc. Do it, okay? Try out. There are enough digital marketing free tools in the market. You don't have to spend a single rupee. They'll give you trial access. Try it and then do it. In terms of books, I think a lot of books, the few recent ones which I've read, I found very great to them. There's one book called How Brands Grow by Brand Sharp. I think it's a fundamental Bible for people who want to do marketing. There's one more good book by Seth Godin. This is marketing. This is a very good book. I recently completed a book Unlocking Growth by Sean Ellis. I think people who want to get into growth marketing and digital marketing, it's a fundamental book. There's a book out there in the market, The CEO Factory by Sudhir Sitapati. He is the executive director of Foods and Refreshment at HUL. Great book, gives you insight on how HUL operates, how marketing and sales as a function operates. If you are into digital consumer behavior, there's one book called as Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug. I think that's a great book, very fundamental of UI, UX, etc. So enough learning experiences out there, enough learning materials out there. The only thing you have to try. Only learning and only certification won't help.
Right. So yeah, I think a lot of material you have sort of provided our viewers with, but additionally you've also encouraged them to try things hands-on,
Yes.
do something of their own, and I think both of these in combination will sort of help them learn a little more about marketing. Coming to our fourth and final section, Amanpreet, we'll talk about the recruiter's perspective or the recruiter's, how can one talk about or think about how does one get recruited into such companies. And the first question is, can you throw some light on how the hiring process itself works for these companies? Probably say in a B school with your experience in that. Can you tell us how does the hiring process work?
Yes, so obviously it starts with the resume shortlisting. If everyone applies to a company like HUL, they should. It starts with the resume shortlisting. Then you get on to, for example, a wider set is selected, and you go on to do group discussions, and then you go on to do interviews, one or two interviews essentially. One is the co-interview, and then the other one is in HR. So this is how a process looks like. If you if you want me to throw some light on how resumes are shortlisted, I think it's a very random process. You would agree on that. There are a lot of fundamental criteria, and nobody can crack that how HR shortlist resume. But I think two things can be done on the resume is, because I told you marketing starts with a lot of field work. If you've done any sort of field work in your previous work experiences, any sort of consumer interactions, please put them out there. Okay. Put them, it helps. Obviously, a exposure to a marketing creates exposure to work. Also, it's about problem solving. If you can show that you solved a particular problem for a company which you have worked for, I think that would also reflect well in your resume. That helps you shortlist. But then there are, I think, multiple ways of designing a resume. It's very specific to the person there. In terms of group discussions, I think people are not looking for the right answers there. They're looking for the way you interact with people, how you formulate a structure to a problem, and how you can gel, discuss things in general. They're not looking for the smartest person in the room. They're looking for the person who can help everyone talk and then lead the group to a specific direction. So that would help. Yeah.
Right. Also, Amanpreet, thanks for touching upon the resume and the GVs. Any particular interview questions that usually gets thrown on to candidates in the marketing interviews?
Yeah. Obviously, you need to know what is your favorite brand, what is your favorite campaign, and it's not essentially a very layman term. Yeah, I like Daag Achhe Hain campaign. You need to know why. Okay, what is the fundamental reason for you liking that campaign? What is the fundamental reason you like the brand? More marketing terms. Obviously, you can't confuse a parachute to be an actual product. It's a Marico product. Okay, so the company you are sitting in, you have to understand what are they. Don't confuse with brand. Brand managers get very iffy if you talk about wrong brand names. In terms of so you're giving marketing cases, good interviews. For example, if I give you a case, Sahil, this is the hand sanitizer. Penetration in India is 2%. If I send you to Madhya Pradesh, how would you go by increasing the market penetration of this? Very, very marketing brand manager kind of problem. So those are there. Then obviously you need to be good with your fundamentals. If I ask you what is the difference between a brand identity and a brand image, because these are the fundamentals. What do you mean the brand equity? What do you mean the brand perception? Okay. So basics of fundamental of Philip Kotler 101. Digital marketing role, which essentially companies don't hire from campuses directly. Any added certification, Google Analytics would help. Okay.
Marketing would help. Your blog, etc., would help.
Yeah. People who come for marketing interviews, they essentially don't test your creative side of things, because I think in the interview situation, it's hard to assess the creative side of things. They won't tell you design a campaign for me, but they'll check your problem solving approach and how fundamentally strong your basics are in terms of marketing.
Right. So yeah, I think that sort of covers a lot of parts which people can focus on during the interview. Primarily being not to forget to know, basically to know brand, which brand belongs to which company, which are their favorite brands, some of their insights from these brands which they have sort of seen, and additional to that, a lot of marketing cases where you just gave an example of. I think all of this sort of should help in the interview process. So I think moving on from the interview process, Amanpreet, one quick question for you is: you have participated and won a lot of case competitions during your B school, and I think
Sorry,
that is.
sorry, I can't hear your voice. Sorry, just a second.
So yeah, I think I was just touching upon the aspect of case competitions. A lot of these companies recruit people who have performed well on these case competitions, and I think no one better to talk about than you, because I've seen you win almost all of them when I was a junior. So can you talk about how do you tackle these case competitions, and how important are these to get yourself into one of these roles?
Yeah, I think I'm fortunate enough to win around 15, 16 of them in the campus. I think the fundamental is to never give up. Because the biggest crunch is time in the campus. You have so many things to do. So time management and to prioritize stuff helps. It really helps to find the right team. All four brilliant marketeers cannot win every case competition. You have to understand that. And in the team which I had, we had a good finance person who was a CA. He was very good with. So here you're not, even it's a marketing case competition, you're solving a real case problem, a real problem which a company is battling with. So it has to have a whole holistic approach. Marketing, yes, you can have couple of marketeers, but a finance person would help you chalk out the commercial numbers, estimate the numbers well, okay? And essentially what people are looking at in your case presentation is how do you structure your thoughts and how do you size the problem well, okay? And one or two consumer insights which are not very obvious to the entire world, which we can bring that out, that helps. Obviously, PPT skills matter, the way you put it on the presentation, because unless the second round is where you get to present, the first round is a shortlisting round, so PPT skills a lot matter. In like 4 slides, how can you put the entire gist of what you want to say, and then how you present and how you tackle the questions. So I think it's more of a motivation thing. What motivates you to do that? For me, the motivation was because I knew I probably won't get a shortlist in finals on marketing because my experience was slightly higher. My motivation was to get a PPI from one of these schemes competition, which I eventually got. So yeah.
Right. So no, I think that sort of gives a good touch upon how important case competitions are also for people who are trying to sort of get into the field of marketing. So all the people who are joining the B schools can keep a lookout for all these competitions. They happen throughout their tenure of 2 years, and yeah. So I think we will now move on to some of the questions which folks had sort of asked us beforehand. We'll take 5 minutes because of this is short time. We'll take around 5 minutes to talk about 2-3 of those questions. So first question is asked by Saurav, and Saurav has asked, he's a civil engineer with around 42 months of work experience and now going to do his MBA. How difficult is it for him to enter into the marketing role?
I think it's not difficult. First of all, when you are stepping into a marketing field, you have to drop your preconceptions about what. There are a lot of preconceptions about marketing. I think a lot of myths we burst in the session here. For Saurabh, I think he can very well venture into the B2B space, B2B marketing space. Yeah, because a lot of these companies like L&T, Shell, etc., they need marketing. And if you have a core background of being a civil engineer, it would certainly help. B2B space is slightly different from B2C in the fact that your customers are defined. You're more of doing a key account management. It's not a brand management, it's a CAM role. Okay. So I think Saurav can very well venture into the B2B space. The fundamentals remain the same of marketing, but how you deal with the consumers and how you structure the problems is different. If you want to get into the core marketing one, because as a civil engineer, probably not with a tech background, I think you can start on the brand development side of things. Like, for example, a TikTok has a BD role where you do ad sales. You go to clients like HUL and P&G and tell them, hey, please use my platform to put your ads on. It's a more sales kind of a pitch role, okay? So that can be looked into. Yeah, but obviously, no preconceptions of it.
Sure, I think that helps answer Saurabh's question. Another question which we had was from Ashwin was is digital marketing a suitable career option for people with disability?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the closest you can get into a marketing domain. For I'm a digital marketer. I'm working head to head with a brand manager to help draft their digital strategies. So for people, yeah, definitely. I think it's a desk job. I don't go on the field unless I'm asked to. Okay, a lot of certifications, free online resources to learn, so you can upskill
Right.
yourself. Yeah, and a lot of technical tools to help you out. So yeah, definitely, why not?
Right. I think so. Yeah, I think touching upon one more question, we have some time. Is that if marketing usually involves a lot of lead generation and sales? This is a question by Aishwarya.
Yeah.
Marketing also involves a lot of lead generation and sales. What if someone is not really inclined towards sales? Is it good to sort of good choice to go ahead with marketing, even though I'm not really interested in sales?
Yeah, definitely. So that's what I told, right? You don't want to do sales, don't do it. You don't want to be in the pitching in the lead generation department because it's a hard sell. Yeah, it's a hard job. There's so much clutter in the market. What you can do, Aishwarya, probably pick up alternate skills like content writing, content marketing. Okay, content marketing is a skill which how do you create good content that sells, that good content that creates. That's one avenue. If you have a technical background, you can pick up SEO as a skill. Okay, or you can pick up ad tech as a whole department. Ad tech is a whole space where how do you optimize campaigns on Facebook, how do you run Google ads, etc. Okay, so I think then there is one angle of marketing analytics. You can be a pro in Google Analytics, Adobe Analytics, Firebase, etc., and you can generate insight out of it. So I think with digital coming into foray, the space has opened up widely. You don't need to just do sales and lead generation. You can do much more.
Right. There was a question from Ayush. Ayush asked, can a person who has worked in the BFSI segment also, take up a role in marketing? And I think Ayush, Manpreet has touched upon that point that I don't think it is really difficult. But yeah, I think probably you can use
Yeah, I
your
think
time
with a
ahead.
yeah with a
Yeah,
BFSI, I think you can go get into fintech, right? Like a Paytm requires a marketing role, right? A Paytm
right.
would require something like a credit would require a marketing role. It's a more digital marketing kind of role. Your experience in BFSI would certainly help there. They want people who understand the consumer core product and the consumers better. So enough opportunities, I think. No doubt for those.
Sure. So yeah, I think that covers up most of these questions with people belonging to different backgrounds. Asking if that is it is possible for entering into marketing. I think as Amanpreet has mentioned, it is not really difficult. There are a lot of avenues inside marketing as well for you to sort of choose from. And I think
Yeah.
with that question, we would sort of
Yeah, I just want to end with one line. Yeah, just want to end with one line. FMCG is not the only space where you do marketing. You have to understand that. FMCG, yes, is obviously the core space of it, but I think with fintech, with product-based companies coming in, there's a lot of avenues there to do marketing digitally as well.
right. Absolutely, Amanpreet. Thank you for that answer and all the questions that you touched upon today. I understand it's a short 1 hour thing and very difficult to touch upon all the aspects, but we've tried to touch upon most of the things. And I think with that, we would sort of conclude our webinar. And thank you again, Amanpreet, for taking out time and giving us some insights into this world of marketing. Folks who have questions still can write to us. You can DM us on our channel, and we'll try to reach out to Amanpreet and get the answers clarified in case if any of that is there. And please do leave us some feedback on how we conduct our webinars and what else can we do moving forward. And yeah, Amanpreet, thank you so much for being there and having this.
Thanks, Alvin, having been. I think I would like to commend Seek a Mentor for the tremendous work you guys are doing. I think it's a need of the hour. A lot of people have a lot of uncertainties around. I think it's a tremendous platform to help people gather one-to-one mentoring with a lot of good folks. So congratulations on the great job you're doing, and I think this would turn out well. And if anyone has questions, they can drop me on my LinkedIn or drop it to Sahil, and I'll be happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, Amanpreet, for that. Thanks a lot. And folks, please stay tuned. We will be having another session next Saturday where we'll be talking about another career insight. And follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn to be updated with what new things we are coming up with. Thanks again. Thanks Ayush that you liked it. Thanks Amanpreet for joining us. And guys, please reach out to us with feedback, with questions. We love to hear from you. Thank you everyone. Thanks.
Thank you guys. Stay safe. Thank you.